The Ryder Cup has always been different. No prize money, no appearance fees. Just 12 of the best golfers from Europe, 12 from the United States, and 3 days of pure competition. It's supposed to be golf stripped back to its essence. Team pride, national rivalry, and bragging rights. But starting in September 2025, that changes. On December 16, 2024, the PGA of America approved a new package for the U.S. team at Bethpage Black. $500,000 per player. $300,000 goes to charity of the player's choice. $200,000 is a personal stipend. So what happened? Why make the change now? And does it risk ending the very tradition that makes the Ryder Cup special? Let's break it down. The Ryder Cup's unique tradition. For decades, the Ryder Cup has been the one event where money didn't matter. Week to week, professional golf is about massive prize funds and solo careers. The majors, the FedEx Cup, earnings define legacies. The Ryder Cup, though, was positioned as the exception. No purses, no checks, just a continental battle every 2 years. That framing helped make it unique. Players talk about the pressure and emotion as unlike anything else. Fans call it golf's Olympics. And critics of commercialization could point to the Ryder Cup as proof that some corners of sport still ran on pride. This edition lands at Bethpage Black, New York this week, one of the game's most demanding public courses and a guaranteed cauldron. But the no money line in the sand? It just moved. A debate older than you think. This isn't the first time pay has come up. The controversy boiled over in 1999 at Brookline, when several U.S. players openly questioned why they weren't compensated for an event generating huge broadcast and sponsorship revenue. The compromise was a charitable allocation. Instead of prize money, each American player directed $200,000 to charity or junior golf initiatives. That approach, no personal pay, endured right through Rome 2023. On the European side, a portion of profits supports the Ryder Cup European Development Trust, which funds grassroots projects across the continent. In short, money was always in the building and just didn't go to the players. Hatgate, the spark in Rome. At the 2023 Ryder Cup in Rome, a small detail became the story. Patrick Cantlay wasn't wearing a Team USA cap. The rumor? He was protesting the lack of pay. Cantlay denied it, saying simply, "The hat doesn't fit." Everyone knows that. But the narrative had momentum. European fans waved their hats, chanted, and turned it into theater. On Saturday, Cantlay drained approximately 43-foot birdie on 18 to win his 4-ball match 1-up. Then mimed a cap tip. His caddy, Joe LaCava, waved his own hat and strayed near Rory McIlroy, who was lining up a putt. Words followed on the green, and minutes later came the viral parking lot confrontation with Shane Lowry ushering McIlroy away as tempers flared. Whether or not Hatgate was about money, it supercharged the conversation. Fans, players, and media were suddenly debating compensation more loudly than ever. The new policy for 2025. 1 year later, the PGA of America made a historic move. For Bethpage 2025, each U.S. player and the captain receives $500,000 total, $300,000 to charity, plus $200,000 stipend. Two important clarifications. One, it's separate from expenses. Travel, lodging, and team costs are covered elsewhere. The stipend isn't a reimbursement. Two, it wasn't demanded by players. The PGA of America has said no players asked to be paid. The organization initiated the change out of respect for the players and in recognition of the event's growth. A neat human detail, U.S. Captain Keegan Bradley has said he'll donate his entire allocation. This is also not without precedent in American team golf. The PGA of America notes the approach mirrors elements of the President's Cup model, which already mixes charitable funding with a stipend for the U.S. side. Is this the right move? Let us know what you think in the comments. Why now? Three forces brought this to a head. Firstly, the spotlight pressure after Rome. Hatgate made compensation the public headline. Even if Cantlay's reason was fit, not finance, the perception that players wanted to be paid stuck. Secondly, the commercial scale. The Ryder Cup is a global juggernaut. TV rights, sponsorship, hospitality. For many observers, it felt increasingly outdated that the primary talent, the players, received no direct payment at all. And third, player relations in a shifting landscape. With the sport resorting itself in the wake of Live Golf and ongoing tour governing body negotiations, a modest stipend is a tangible signal to the U.S. team that their role is valued. The European contrast. Team Europe has not announced any direct pay plan. Leading European voices, notably Rory McIlroy and Captain Luke Donald, have repeatedly framed the event as something played for pride and legacy, not pay. That sets up an intriguing cultural split. America now mixes pride plus charity plus stipend. Europe remains pride plus charity. Expect fans to make noise about it, especially at a New York venue where the atmosphere will be lively. Does this change the Ryder Cup? On one hand, no. For the world's best, $200,000 isn't life-changing money. It won't alter match strategy. The competition will still be about pairings, putts, and handling pressure. On the other hand, yes, symbolically. The Ryder Cup's identity always rested on the idea that it was different. Introducing a stipend blurs that line. A useful scale check, $500,000 per player, is roughly equivalent to a top 10 finish at a major. It's real money, but small next to annual earnings. The bigger impact is narrative. The moment the Cup officially acknowledged player compensation. Will it overshadow the golf? Probably not once the first tee grandstand starts shaking. But the old no money myth is gone. The new story is how the money flows, heavily to charity with a slice to players, and whether that balance feels right. The bigger picture. Step back and the move fits a broader reality. Golf has been renegotiating what value looks like. For tours, for organizers, for players, ever since the sports ecosystem fractured. Questions about revenue sharing, event ownership, and player leverage aren't going away. The Ryder Cup payment package doesn't cheapen the competition by itself. If anything, it formalizes what many already believed. That in 2025, a flagship sporting event can honor tradition and acknowledge the people who make it a must-watch. Meanwhile, Europe's stance preserves a clear contrast. 2 models, 2 cultures, 1 trophy. It adds fuel to a rivalry that never needed extra kindling. Ryder Cup's future? So, is this the end of Ryder Cup tradition? Not entirely. The chants will still rattle the grandstands at Bethpage Black. The nerves will still spike on every 5-footer. The team rooms will still be tight, emotional, and all in. But something fundamental has shifted. For the first time, U.S. players will be paid, not just in pride, not just through charity, but in dollars. The old bright line between the Ryder Cup and the rest of professional golf is a little blurrier. Maybe that's inevitable when an event grows to this size. Maybe it's overdue recognition. Either way, the decision will shape how fans, players, and the game itself view the Ryder Cup for years to come. Because in 2025, the hats might fit, and the debate over money isn't going anywhere. Thanks for watching. For more great golfing content, don't forget to like and subscribe.